Hello and welcome to another edition of Wildcat Tailgate. I am your host, Andrew Eaton. The Wildcats entered the matchup against Minnesota Duluth 2-1 on the season, with the lone loss on the road by a touchdown. Duluth had owned the series history against Wayne State, but the Wildcats overlooked the obstacle and played a well-rounded game. On the first play from scrimmage, linebacker Taylor Hoffman forced a fumble on Bulldog star receiver Jason Baltz, and fellow linebacker Dwayne Scott recovered it. On the ensuing drive for the Wildcat offense, the team capitalized on the short field and scored on an off-tackle run play from running back Rashad Trimble that extended the lead to 14-0 in the first quarter. Following a 10-point Bulldog swing, Willie Walton muffed a punt and quarterback Ben Everhart threw his lone touchdown pass to Baltz for 32 yards. The rapid-fire Wildcat offense scored on a touchdown pass from Zach Osborne to Nate Rogers. An interception thrown by Osborne led to a Bulldog touchdown and took the lead at 31-28 before completions of 20, 26, and 24 placed the ball at the 10-yard line. The offense stalled and Ethan Knutson kicked the field goal to tie the game at 31 apiece, and the game went into overtime. And in overtime, Wayne State won the toss and started on defense. Dwayne Scott jumped in front of a pass thrown by Everhart at the 7-yard line, and Wayne State College needed was a field goal. An 18-yard completion to Shamir Williams placed the ball at the 2-yard line. On second and goal, the field goal unit came out. Knutson tried to attempt a field goal, but it was blocked by the Bulldogs. On the ensuing overtime possession, Zach Osborne threw his second interception of the game, and Branger came on with the field goal unit for the Bulldogs and kicked the game-winning field goal from 27 yards out, and Minnesota Duluth escaped Wayne America with the 34-31 nail-biter victory. The loss dropped Wayne State College to 2-2 on the season, and the Bulldogs outgained the Wildcats 468-417, and a non-existent run game forced both teams to air the ball out, and Minnesota Duluth had 422 yards and 380 for Wayne State College. Osborne was outdueled by Everhart, and Jason Baltz connected for 201 yards and the one touchdown pass. Osborne threw 2 touchdowns but also had 2 costly interceptions. Lane Sullivan had the 5th highest catches in a game and set career highs in catches and yards with 15 for 151. Now, Taylor, kind of looking at the game 2 weeks ago, what was your kind of takeaway? If you're McLaughlin, how do you tell your players about the decision to kick a field goal on second down?
Yeah, that's always tough. I mean, second down, I don't know what the thought process he had with that. Just trying to get it, just that one up so you have it already going. Just kind of at the spare of the moment type of deal, which I don't think they probably should have kicked the field goal. I think their running game was doing a little strong, so they probably should have done a little bit of that. But, all in all, they tried it. Didn't work, and that's the result.
I was talking to a redshirt freshman offensive guard, and he just did say that McLaughlin apologized to the team, but at the same point, it's like at the 2-yard line, you think that your kicker, because he was able to send the game into overtime, he was capable of making them plays, and the interceptions did hurt Zach Osborne, and he actually got hurt at one point coming in right before that overtime possession, but came back, and then it's just everything kind of went south from there. The defense kept them in the game, even though it was kind of a high-scoring game, and Dwayne Scott was kind of the leader of that unit with the interception and then the fumble recovery.
Yeah, so being a former linebacker, I mean, you got the whole – we're like the quarterbacks of the defense, and with a strong linebacker core like we have now with Dwayne Scott, Taylor Hoffman, Tyler Thompson, just all those guys, it really brings it together on defense, and they do a great job. So Dwayne Scott making that big play.
And after the break, we'll be right back to discuss the Vikings matchup where Wayne State won with a convincing defense.
Be a part of something bigger than yourself every Thursday at Crew. Crew is a caring community passionate about connecting people to Jesus. Join us in Gardner Hall at 7:30 for music, speakers, and fellowship every week. Life can be lonely when you go away to college. Crew feels like home.
Last Saturday was a bit of an unusual game for the Wayne State College Wildcats. The team traveled to Sioux Falls and played Augustana. The Vikings outgained the Wildcats 436 to 222. Running back Ryan Bradbury had a career-high 144 yards rushing, and in a game where both teams were without their starting quarterbacks, it was a struggle. Backup quarterback Taylor Reedy started for the Wildcats before getting injured himself. Reedy finished the game 0 for 3 and 1 interception and added 336 yards on the ground on 5 carries. Aaron Blyle was the next man up for the Wildcats. Blyle led the Wildcats on a 10-play, 66-yard drive and ended on a Ethan Knutson field goal. Another chip shot field goal at the end of the first half gave the Wildcats a 6-0 lead at intermission. Vikings quarterback Kyle Sadler struggled in his game, passing and threw a pick six to Randy Bryan, extending the lead to 13-0. Knutson added another field goal at the end of the third quarter, and the game was 16-0. Sadler did throw a 15-yard touchdown to Trevor DeShapper and added a 13-yard pass to Jake Walsheimer, and the scoreboard read 16-13 with 1:31 left to go in the game. An ensuing onside kick by Augustana failed as the Wildcats recovered it before taking a knee. Sadler threw 7 interceptions in the game, intercepted 3 times by Wildcat defensive back Glenn Harris, and Sadler finished the game with 2 touchdowns, 7 interceptions, and 193 yards passing. Leading the way for the Wildcats was Aaron Blyle, who threw 1 interception and had 138 yards in the air, and Rashad Trimble led the team in rushing with 23 yards on 24 attempts. The keys to the victory for the Wayne State defense was the 7 interceptions, and abysmal third down rates for both teams factored into the low-scoring contest, and Augustana had 10 costly penalties for 100 yards. With this, Wayne State improves to 3-2 on the season and will have back-to-back home games on October 7th against Southwest Minnesota State and October 12th, a Thursday night matchup against the University of Sioux Falls. And after the break, we will discuss last week's matchup and look ahead to Southwest Minnesota State for Wayne's next home game.
You look frustrated. Sam, what's wrong?
I can't concentrate.
Well, what are you listening to? No. You should be listening to 91.9 The Cat. That's gonna help you focus. Here, see?
Yeah, okay.
Imagine. What if every week you had something fun, social, and challenging to look forward to? Few things match the teamwork and creative freedom that can be found while playing Dungeons & Dragons. Dungeons & Dragons Club is a community to help D&D players find each other and get organized. It is open to players of all experience levels and playstyles. They host workshops teaching people how to play or DM. They help match up similar players for campaigns. And they have a community library to lend out books and dice. The club presents opportunities for writing, acting, art, and contributing to campus events. Plus, it's hard not to make friends while problem-solving and causing shenanigans with your adventuring group. The possibilities are only limited by your imagination. Dungeons & Dragons Club meets Wednesdays at 5:30 p.m. in the Meadowlark Room, 2nd floor of the Student Center. If you still aren't sure if D&D Club is right for you, just roll for it.
Welcome back to Wildcat Tailgate. I'm joined again by Taylor Clark. And Taylor, kind of going back of what happened last week, what was the big standout for you?
Probably the running by Rashad Trimble. I mean, you got, especially with your quarterbacks get hurt, I mean, you got a young guy coming in, Blyle. I don't think he's played a game since he's been here. So that's kind of a shock to him, I'm sure. But just try and keep it on the ground. He did a good job passing, I thought, a little bit, so you can keep that up. Especially playing the first time, like I said, first game that you're in. Just try to keep it on the ground more, trying to get used to it a little bit with Trimble, and everything will fall into place as Trimble makes the yards for him.
Early in the season, this team was relied heavily on the offense. Zach Osborne set the school record with touchdown passes and was also another quarterback that reached 10,000 yards. McLaughlin is the all-time winning coach. coming into this season, I think Wayne State thought really positively on the fact that Zach Osborne was going to lead this team. But now that he's injured, no one really knows what happened, and Taylor Reedy stepped in, and he was replaced by Blyle. Your third-string quarterback is now on what was a very explosive team, but now it seems like the defense has taken the reins a little bit, and especially with the 7-interception game, Dwayne Scott, the linebacking crew, Glenn Harris, all these different players are really stepping up on the defensive side, and that goes to the defensive coordinator, McLaughlin's brother. And with that, is that something that Wayne State's going to have to lean on until they figure out what's going to happen with their quarterback situation?
I don't think necessarily that they'll have to lean on the defense, but I mean, with good defense, obviously our team's not going to score, but at some point they're going to get tired of being out there all the time. So having a good offense, trying to relate to that is going to be good. And going to see this next coming week how it's going to go. So you never know. Hopefully the offense can step up and really do what the defense is doing to other teams.
And with that, the next matchup is against Southwest Minnesota State, and that is this Saturday. Taylor Clark and I will have the call. And with that, Southwest Minnesota State enters the game at 2-3 on the season, and they are led by a 2-quarterback splitting reps. Connor Wilkie has thrown for 1 touchdown and 2 interceptions on the season, while Blake Gimble has thrown for 7 touchdowns and 2 interceptions. Ashanti Payne leads Southwest Minnesota State with 253 yards on 76 carries and has scored 5 touchdowns. The leading receiver is Nate Hunt, who leads the team in yards, catches, and touchdowns with 32, 462, and 3 respectively. On defense, one player to watch out for is J.D. Jackson Hanchett, who has 4 interceptions on the season, which could wreak havoc offensively for a Wayne State team starting its third-string quarterback. Just kind of going through the offense and defense a little bit for the X factors for a Southwest Minnesota State team. What do you need to do as if you're Wayne State? Because you're 3-2 on the season. Both of your losses were last possession type of events, and you could very easily be 5-0 right now.
Yeah, I mean, the interceptions are going to be key. Especially with Blyle coming in. I know he hasn't had that much experience, like you said, with passing and all that. So just keeping it short game for a little bit at least. Not trying to air it out, not trying to do anything crazy with the ball, and not get in the hands of their defensive backs. And you should be good. Just keep it on the ground and short passes.
How do you think this game is going to turn out?
It can turn out 2 different ways: complete disaster and the complete, not a complete, but I mean, hopefully they can come out with that. I think it's going to be a good game if they keep their heads on and focus and really do well this week, which I'm sure they've been doing in practice the whole week. That's just the main thing, is leading up to the game. You got to have that focus and energy and come out strong.
Until the game notes come out, we'll keep a close eye on whether or not Taylor Reedy will be available or the absence of Zach Osborne, and hopefully Blyle gets himself set in a good situation with the offensive coordinator, Logan Masters. And I think the defense is going to keep Wayne in this football game. This has been another edition of Wildcat Tailgate. I'm Andrew Eaton alongside Taylor Clark. Well, hopefully you guys tune into the game at Wayne. So long.